Hi all, welcome to some midweek grounding. What you're going to need today, or if you would like, you can grab your essential oils, and like as always, if you don't have essential oils or you're allergic or something like that, you can always use coconut oil or olive oil or no oil or lotion. You can grab those, and then I've got some worksheets for today, and I'll put those, they're down in the description box. And I have a feelings inventory, so negative and positive feelings, and we're going to use that in our exercise today. And then a positive worksheet, and then the how do you feel today worksheet. And the one that I have in the description box doesn't look exactly like this, but it gets the point across. So today we're going to talk about fear and all of the stress that's been going on, and eating. So this can be if you're recovering from an eating disorder, or if you emotionally eat, if you have some bulimia or anorexia, or you're just like, you've realized since all of this stuff has been going on, you've been eating either a lot or a little, and you've been having a lot of anxiety issues. You've been maybe putting all of your emotions into the eating, into the food. So we're gonna talk about that a little bit today, but first I wanted to start off with a little bit from God's Word, from devotion. And this week's theme, appropriately, is our weaknesses and God's strength. And today's verse is Isaiah 40:12 through 31. But I pulled out 25 and 26 because I thought that it was just very beautiful and encouraging. And it says, "To whom will you compare me? Or who is my equal? Says the Holy One. Lift your eyes up and look to the heavens. Who created all these? He who brings out the starry hosts one by one and calls them each by name. Because of his great power and his mighty strength, not one of them is missing." And I love that. It's almost like the sparrow. God sees the sparrow, so how much more does he love us? But then it goes even bigger to, he puts out the stars, and because of his great power and his mighty strength, not one is missing. So I wanted to share that with you. And then along with today's devotional this is from Charles de Foucault. I'm not even going to try it. So it's from Meditations of a Hermit. You give me your help, not in proportion to our merit, but to our needs. You came for the sick and not for the healthy. How true I feel this is. I feel your love as you hold me to your sacred heart. Be my beloved Jesus, my God, my Master. But I feel too the need I have of your tenderness and of your caress because of my infinite weakness. And again, it's that whole my weakness and God's strength. And it's very appropriate for what we're going to be talking about today, and maybe how you're feeling this week, last week. I know it's been a long time, and we're still going through a lot, and there's a lot of heaviness. But this is also a time to learn how to be thankful, and to learn how to be grateful, and to learn in this weakness how to be thankful, and how to recognize the things that God has given us, and the strengths that he has empowered in us and imbued in us. So I wanted to share those with you this morning. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of grounding before we get into some work. So go ahead and grab your essential oils, or whatever you want to use, or nothing at all. And let's begin with our feet. So you can go ahead and put a little bit of oil on your toes, and go ahead and start with one foot, and we'll start at the toes and start at the ball of the foot. And as we're going along, maybe recognizing, maybe coming down a little bit, maybe recognizing your breathing. Is it shallow? Is it quick? Is it slow? So recognizing that, and then recognizing maybe what you're feeling. Maybe this morning, this day has just been going too fast, and you haven't been able to be calm, be still, be silent with who you are and where you're at today. So allow yourself this time to maybe recognize. Maybe moving to the arch of your foot. I don't know about you, but this is where I can feel it the most, where it feels most tender. This is where all of your nerve endings are in your feet. But recognize here, maybe where you're feeling it other than your feet. And then working back towards the heel and the ankle. And then up that shin and calf. And let's go ahead and switch sides. So we'll take it to the other side, working on the toes, the ball of the foot, the arch of the foot, maybe back towards that heel. And again, same thing on this side, recognizing if there's anything going on, or recognizing any irregularities. I just felt, I was bit by a mosquito last night, and it's like right in my ankle. It's super itchy right there. Moving back towards that arch, towards the heel. Good. And then maybe finding comfortable space for yourself, maybe sitting it up tall, maybe taking a deep inhale and a deep exhale. Good. So I told you to get all of those worksheets if you would like. I forgot to tell you to go ahead and grab your journal or your pad of paper. So what we're going to talk about today is how fear controls my eating. And I'm going to hold this up to the camera, and you can go ahead and pause it here. Hopefully you can see that. Go ahead and pause it here, and then you can jot this down. You can put this in your journal or in your notepad. So how fear controls my eating. So now that you've written your things down, it's important to know that anorexia and bulimia and other eating disordered eating, emotional eating, they're behavioral problems based out of fear. It's important to know that it's out of your fear that these things are happening. And the fear may take many forms, and it can be caused by all kinds of distorted thoughts. It can be caused by early automatic thoughts that you were told as a child, or early trauma as a child, early abuse, or even later abuse. These can all end up in disordered eating. So for this exercise, what we're trying to do is we're trying to identify our fears that seem to control our eating behaviors. And then focus on the most powerful of those fears and turn them around. So taking the negative and turning it into the positive. And this is called cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. So if you've heard of that, then that's what this is part of. So first of all, after you've written this down, how fear controls my eating. And so these are the fears. I have fear of, and you can put an X or you can write them all down. I have fear of gaining weight, becoming obese, losing control of my eating, being a failure, food not being available, being independent, so fear of being independent. I have a fear of being by myself, being sexually attractive, not being perfect, being rejected by family or friends, fear of expressing my thoughts, fear of speaking up for my rights, fear of not having worth apart from my appearance, fear of becoming close and intimate with someone of the opposite sex, and fear of someone else being in control of me. And then go ahead and write down other fears that you may have. Some of these you may be like, none of those apply to me, or some, maybe all of them apply to you, and then some. So add in what other fears are in your mind or are plaguing your heart. So go ahead and write those down. Now what we're going to do next is go ahead and write out the two most powerful fears. And you can pause it here and write this down. So write down your two most powerful fears, and they may be the fears that we were just talking about or ones that you added. So how does the fear influence your behavior, or what impact does it have on your life, and how does it affect your eating? So for each of the fears listed, so we've got 1 and 2, write out how that fear influences your behavior, and then write out what impact does it have on your life, and then write out how does it affect your eating. And if you don't know the answers to these questions right now, that's okay. You can come back to this, because as we keep going, you'll kind of figure it out more. Or that's why we've got the feelings inventory sheets too, so that maybe you can come in contact with some of your feelings, recognize what's going on there. So for fear number 1, how does the fear influence your behavior? What impact does it have on your life? And how does it affect your eating? For fear number 2, what does the fear influence? How does it influence your behavior? Does it make you shy, scared, anxious, fearful? Well, fear, of course, but have panic attacks? Like, does it make you not want to be around people? Does it make you want to hide? Does it make you angry? Does it make you depressed? So recognizing those things. So now we're going to identify the thoughts that go with this. So most irrational fears are triggered by distorted thoughts. So if you think about it, and we will in a moment too, if you think about it, most of the fears, they are valid but not rational. So your fears may be valid but irrational. So most irrational fears are triggered by distorted thoughts or distorted automatic thoughts. Thoughts that you've always had, thoughts that have been put in you since you were little, or thoughts that you've grown up with. First, people have thoughts about a situation, and then those thoughts cause emotional reaction. Therefore, our fears are reduced or eliminated if the negative thoughts can be changed to thoughts that are more realistic, more hopeful, and more positive. So for each of the fears that you listed, for the 1 and the 2, for each of those fears, identify the thoughts that you have and that are associated with each fear. And that's where this feelings inventory will come in, because it will help you to get your thought process moving. So here's some examples of some fears or thoughts that you have that might be triggered with your fears. So you can, if you wanted to, you can pause that too. But these might be some fears. Or some thoughts that are going along with the fears. I know. I'm already too fat. I'm going to become fat like my family members, or family member, a specific member. For some it may be father, for some it may be mother. I want to look skinny. If I start to gain, I won't be able to stop. I look pretty when I'm thin. If I eat normally, I'll get fat. I can't eat like most people because I'll get fat. The only way I can stay fit is to constantly diet. It is not healthy to eat regular portions or meals. So recognizing those thoughts. Do any of those thoughts sound familiar? And if there are any other thoughts, write those down so that you have those. And so for each of those fears listed, associate what thoughts go with that specific fear. So when your thoughts are held onto, I'll put this right here, and you can pause this here and write that down. So when you hold on to these thoughts, these irrational thoughts that we just talked about, the fear of gaining weight grows. Remembering though, I know you might be saying, well, it's not about food, I'm stressed out about other stuff right now, I'm emotionally eating. So it may not be the thoughts about gaining weight, it may just be the thoughts about not feeling good or feeling gross or looking gross, or looking not nice or clothes not fitting, that sort of thing. So that may be your fears too. And when you hold on to those negative thoughts, those irrational negative thoughts, the fears that you have grow. They just feed. They feed on those thoughts, and they grow and grow and grow. So to reduce these fears, to reduce these thoughts, we have to replace those negative, harmful thoughts with positive, realistic thoughts. So, like I said before, your automatic thoughts may be not enough, too much, need to look perfect, need to be perfect, need to act perfect. I'm not good enough to be around people. I'm not pretty. I am not. All of those automatic thoughts that may have always been in your head, and you're like, I don't even know where they came from. Those are ATs, or automatic thoughts. So we're going to change these negative thoughts, or your negative ATs, with some positive, realistic thoughts. So here are some. So here is a way. We've done this before. We did this a couple weeks ago, and this is a way to change those negative automatic thoughts or negative thoughts and turn them into a positive by using truth and by being positive and realistic. So our ways to combat those negative thoughts, those negative automatic thoughts, we're going to go through 5 things. Since you've already recognized your thoughts, your fears and your thoughts, now what we want to do is, so grabbing one of those thoughts, grabbing those fears, so let's, for example, I'm already too fat, so we're going to take that fear. Number 1, is that thought true? So take that thought and write it down. Write down whatever that thought is. So, for example, I'm already too fat. Write that down and look at it. So there becomes power when you write it out, because you can look at it and be like, wait. Is that really true? Is that rational? Is that irrational? So looking at it, I'm already too fat. Is that true? And you may be like, I don't know. Yes, no. Okay, then number two, is it 100% true? And the answer to that is always, this is the given one. I said this a couple weeks ago. This is the cheat one. Is it 100% true? No. Nothing is ever 100% true. We don't know the future. We don't know. Nothing is ever 100% true when it comes to this. So now number 3, describe how it makes you feel. Describe how it makes you feel. How does that thought, I'm already too fat, make you feel? So it may make you feel numb, withdrawn, furious, self-contempt, troubled, burnt out, sleepy, hurt, lonely, sad. So this is where that thought feeling comes in, that thought sheet comes in. There's a lot of these, and you can recognize that yes, you may be afraid, annoyed, confused, but there's tons of other words underneath those that may fit what you're feeling better. So grab that. So now we've described how it makes you feel. So writing that down, describe how it makes you feel. It makes me feel like what we had said. Now, how would you feel without that thought? So now writing out, how would you feel without that thought? And I'm going to turn this over to the positive sheet, or you can take out your positivity sheet right here. And it would make me feel amazed, free, open, appreciative, encouraged, ecstatic, restored, revived. So that's how it would make you feel without that thought. And then number 5, describe the opposite of that thought. So how do we change that from that negative, I'm already too fat, or I need to be this, or I need to be that? How do we've thought that no, it's not all true. Describe how it makes you feel, helpless, powerless. How would you feel without the thought? Free and empowered. And then describe the opposite of the thought. The opposite of the thought would be, I feel healthy. I want to feel energy. I want to feel comfortable. I want to feel, the opposite of the feeling would be, I think comfortable is a really good word, or not even comfortable, but empowered, energized. So go through that. There's so many different words, and I am just doing examples. There's so many different things that may be going on in your head, and explore that, like go through that. So that is how we change those thoughts. That's how we take those negative automatic thoughts, those negative thoughts, and you can do this with anything. But today we're focused on kind of the eating aspect of it because of so much stress has been going on, because eating is a huge trigger. Food is a huge trigger in so many ways for so many people, either eating disordered or emotional eating, having that relationship with food, the positive relationship with food. So remember that your thoughts are under your control. Your thoughts are under your control. That exercise we just did, you just took your thoughts captive and you brought them under your control. Your thoughts create your feelings. So by you replacing those negative automatic thoughts with rational, positive thinking, you have caused your feelings to shift, to change. And it may only be for 5 minutes, but you've done it and you know how to continue to do it. So practice this today. Know that there are ways to combat the negative. There are ways to combat the feelings that you have. And maybe everything is just so overwhelming. Sit down for a few moments and allow yourself this time. Let's do a few breathing exercises to bring yourself down after this. Or maybe you haven't even started it yet because you're like, I'm going to see what she's going to say. Maybe breathe, see if it's something that you can do today. So maybe sitting up a little tall, and let's kind of roll our shoulders a little bit, maybe shrugging them up, and then release that down, and then shrug that up, and release that down. Good, let's inhale and sweep our arms up towards the sky, and then exhale and press this down. And again, that's if that's available to you. If it's not available to you to use your arms today, that's fine. Inhale it deeply through your nose, and exhale it through your mouth. And again, inhale it through your nose, and exhale it through your mouth. One more time. Let's do that nice breath. Inhale it deeply, and exhale it. Thank you for taking a chance today, for taking the time to go through this exercise. I know it can be difficult. I know that it can be tough. I know that it can be triggering. Doing this may make you want to go eat. It may make you want to go do something negative or something self-destructive. Recognize that. Recognize that might be what's going on, and see if you can do that changing. Or see if you can get up and do something else for 5 minutes, and that might change your thinking too. Or go do a video. Go do a yoga video, or go do some tapping. That will kind of change everything too. So remember that you are seen and that you are heard. You are important. You are valuable. You have a voice and you have a choice. You can't control what other people do, what they say, how they react, how they affect your life, but you can control how you respond. You can control how you respond to what they are saying, what they are doing, how they are affecting your life. You can control how you respond to that, and you can control the words that you choose to give. You can also control the information that you choose to take in, and then the information that you choose to give away. So remembering that you do have control. You have control over your thoughts. Thus, your thoughts, they cause your feelings. So you control your feelings. I don't know, just saying. Just letting you guys know. So know that you're seen, know that you're heard, and that you're important, that you're valuable. You have a voice and you have a choice. I'll keep saying that over and over and over. And it's one of those things, if you keep repeating that, it becomes truth. So keep repeating it, keep repeating it, keep repeating it. You don't know how many times that I've struggled or sat down, and because I've said this so many times over and over and over in these videos, I've been like, oh, yeah, I say it, it's truth, I know it, I've done so much work on myself that I know that this is true. I know that this stuff it's true, it's real. So, Sammy, come here. Sammy's learning how to press buttons. So, well, actually to do it, you want to say yes, yes, push, touch, 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 touch. I know it's too hard. Okay, touch. Touch it.
Yes.
Good boy. Touch it again. Again. Here, there you go.
Yes.
There we go. So I've gotten him some buttons and different ones, and then we're going to go through and see. He will learn how to do stuff, but then, yeah, it's kind of fun. There you go. Or this one is his favorite one. Okay, there you go. Here, bud. That one's your favorite. There you go. What's that one? Maybe. There you go. Do it again. I know. All right, guys. We'll see you guys next time.